From Saskatoon Centre in Saskatoon, the Canadian Elite Basketball League is coming to you live. As the Saskatoon Mamba take on the Scarborough Shooting Stars. Hello everyone, I'm Ryan Flaherty alongside Eric Magdans. Katrin Hodson will join us in just a few moments. Well, sometimes the storylines just write themselves, and this is certainly one of those days as the Mamba, fresh off their very first victory of the season on Friday night, now look to settle the score against a Shooting Stars squad that snatched that potential first victory right out of their grasp with a massive target time comeback a couple of weeks ago. As for the Stars, well, they're on a roll too, and comebacks have become something of a thing for them as their relentlessness and their never-quit attitude has powered them to a 4-0 start and top spot in the East.
Absolutely. We may have a shootout on our hands tonight with two of the most high-powered offenses in the CEBL. The Shooting Stars look to continue their 4-game winning streak after two absolutely stunning target time comebacks. Well, the addition of Tevian Jones for the Mamba looks to hope to build off the Friday night victory. Either way, both these teams love to play fast and love to shoot the rock, so we should be in for an exciting game tonight.
Absolutely, Eric, and there's some new faces on the floor as well. One particular that we definitely are looking forward to seeing back here in Saskatoon. With more on that, let's send it over to Katrin Hodson.
Well, the Mamba will be feeling very good after Friday night. They have had some time to regroup since then. Like you said, Ryan, a new addition to the roster, Tevian Jones from the Vancouver Bandits. And he actually finished his season last year with Saskatoon, put up a very impressive performance in his short time with the team. They'll be very glad to have him on the court. Jaden Bediako, of course, as well. His presence was definitely felt Friday evening, both offensively and defensively. Coach Fox agreed. The Shooting Stars, however, will be a formidable opponent. Like you said, their target score record is pretty epic. They came back from a 15-point deficit last time they faced the Mamba. Tonight, both teams back here in less than 2 weeks on Saskatoon's turf. Back to you, Ryan.
It's always nice. Thank you so much, Katrin. When you get another crack at a team shortly after a heartbreaking loss like the Mamba suffered in the Ends just 15 days ago, you can see some special jerseys on the floor once again. Of course, it is Paw Patrol Day here in the Bridge City. So one-time, one-off jerseys that are going to be game-worn, auctioned off after this contest, with proceeds going to the Jim Pattison Children's Hospital. So that is terrific stuff. Let's take a look at the stats for tonight's game here very quickly. As we noticed, of course, both these teams, they've had no trouble scoring the basketball. Defense, however, has been an issue on both sides, so looking to tighten that up. The field goal percentages nearly identical. In fact, all the shooting numbers virtually identical for both teams. Rebounding, a clear advantage for the Shooting Stars. Looks like Katrin Hodson has got Coach Isaiah Fox of the Mamba standing by. Let's send it over to them.
Yes, I'm Coach Fox. All right, Coach. Great game Friday. What did you see on the court that you want to see again tonight?
Well, our ability to defend was great Friday night. Not only were we able to defend their primary player, but their primary actions, and then we rebounded the ball. So that was the message. Keep building upon what we did good on Friday. Let's make sure we're still physical and rebounding the basketball.
Great addition with Tevian Jones. What do you hope he brings to the team tonight?
The toughness that he played against us with when he was playing on Vancouver. He's a tough player. He's a player that knows who he is as a player. He plays hard, he plays tough, he plays with emotion. That's what we want.
All right, thank you, Coach. Have a great time out there. Back to you, Ryan.
Thank you so much, Katrin and Coach Fox. Yes, Tevian Jones, 19 points with the Bandits here in the season opener a few weeks back, and now he's wearing Mamba colors. All right, we've got more to come here as we get closer to tip-off, but first we're going to step out and then come back and get ready for first quarter action. You are watching the Canadian Elite Basketball League live on CBC Gem, YouTube, and CEBL+. Welcome back inside the Snake Pit, or is it the Dog Pound here on this Sunday in Saskatoon. Paw Patrol Day with some furry friends on hand to help cheer on the Mamba, who are hosting Scarborough in their second meeting of the season. Well, Eric, you have identified some keys to today's game. Let's take a look at the keys for the visiting Scarborough Shooting Stars.
Thanks, Ryan. We've absolutely highlighted the offensive power of both of these teams, but the key probably is the other end of the floor is the defense, guarding the three. The Mamba are the top three-point percentage team in the league. The Shooting Stars need to get out there, take that away. And the second part for the Shooting Stars is being able to attack the paint. They lead the league in free throw attempts because they get in the paint. Then they have the ability to kick out for all their shooters around the perimeter. And finally, the last thing here is to stay consistent. Despite being 4-0, their average margin of victory is only 3 points, and 3 of those games have been comebacks in target time. So they really need to stay consistent, manage possessions throughout this entire game so that they can come out with a victory.
Great stuff. All right, let's flip it over to the home side. What are your keys for the Saskatoon Mamba?
Much better job of this for the Mamba on Friday night, but they need to battle on the boards. It's a very different test. Winnipeg Sea Bears were worse in the league in rebounding. Now they're going to face the best rebounding team in the league here with Scarborough, and they have a bunch of guys who can do it. The second part is defending with 5. Much better job in the second half of Friday night's game, limiting Teddy Allen to only 7 points in the second half after getting 21 in the first. They need to stick with that, get in those gaps, a lot of explosive offensive players, and then build off that momentum. They had a great game on Friday. A lot of growth throughout this season. Need to keep building off that.
Great stuff. All right, moments before tip-off here, so let's take a look at the starting lineups. And we already heard the mention of the newest face in Mamba colors. It is Tevian Jones, but he's not in the starting lineup here this afternoon. Tevian Dunmartin. Trey Townsend is the one change to the starting lineup, but Jalen Williams not available here this afternoon, but he will be expected back, hopefully, for the next Mamba contest. Jaden Bediako, second game, second start. Jameer Chaplin and Jamal Fuller, who is back and able to play after missing the second half of last game. Javen Johnson, Kellen Tynes, the CEBL scoring leader, Miles Powell, Charles Bediako, and Amir Sims round out the starting 5 for Scarborough. Eric, you've outlined a player to watch for each team. Well, there's a theme here. Let's start with Charles Bediako of the Shooting Stars.
Yeah, absolutely. We got some brotherly love tonight, starting with Charles Bediako, a very experienced player, spent a bunch of time in the G League as well as played his university ball at Alabama. Explosive, can run the floor, great rebounder, will be looking to finish around the rim. You see that field goal percentage, 78%. Best thing to do is make him not touch the ball, and he's going to do a lot of that damage off of offensive rebounds, so keep him off the glass.
And for the Mamba, it's big brother Bediako, Jaden. What are you expecting from him?
Jaden is absolutely fired up. This is the first time these guys have been able to play against each other in university or professionally, and Jaden had a great first outing on Friday night with 17 points. Also 78% from the field goal, so they must be brothers. But absolutely, you're going to see them have to be physical, and they're going to have to stay out of foul trouble. Try not to let that excitement get too big.
All righty, so that's going to be fun. We'll have more on the brotherly battle here today, but we're all set for some great CEBL action. And yes, you might notice a hush in the crowd. This is a new thing they're trying out here, waiting for the first points. You know, silent strikes. That's the Mamba brand. We've heard that from Coach Isaiah Fox, so I should probably bring my voice down here a little golf style. The official game ball of the CEBL is presented by Spalding, which is presenting our opening tip-off as we step forward to the first tee. Eric. We're underway here. The Mamba in those one-off Paw Patrol jerseys, Paw Patrol pink, we're going to call it here, and the Shooting Stars in white with the ball to begin today's contest. Second of 3 here on this busy Sunday in the CEBL. Mid-range jumper, no good for Sims, but an offensive rebound for the Stars, and there's Miles Powell. First try, no good from 3. And the Mamba with their first opportunity to go to the offensive end. Jaden Bediako guarded by his brother. He's going to take a long one, and I don't know if I've seen that one from the big man before, Eric, but
you can tell he's fired up tonight. He's ready to go. Wanted to get that first shot under the belt.
Right back comes brother Charles, and okay, we're in for one here, I think. The tone's set with the Bediacos each getting the first bucket for their respective teams. I love it when you plug a story and it comes together that quickly. Jamal Fuller back the other way, can't get the shot to go. Here comes Tynes on the run, uncontested layup. And the Stars go ahead 4-2.
You like to see Fuller back in the game here. Rolled his ankle in the Friday night contest. Wasn't sure if he was going to be able to go, but he's looking great out here.
Bediaco with the contest on the first shot, but Jaden Bediaco on the follow. Jaden 4, Charles 2, and it's a tie game at 4. Javen Johnson looking from deep. No good. Tavian Dunmartin with the rebound. 21 points in Friday's win over Winnipeg. As he weaves his way into the paint, but cannot get the shot to drop. Johnson wasting no time getting up the court. Now Shooting Stars set up their half-court offense. Turnaround flip there from Sims. Won't go, and the Mamba right back the other way. Fuller, pull-up three. And he gets the friendly bounce. Jamal Fuller, yeah, that ankle's looking just fine. And we've got off to a very quick pace here as Powell responds at the other end.
Interesting matchup to watch tonight. Looks like they put Jameer Chapman on Powell to try to give him a little bit of extra length to guard that there, try to take away his threes. So far, Powell's been attacking the lane.
Trey Townsend, corner three, comes up short. Jaden Bediaco gets to the rebound. Dunmartin, pull up two is good. And the Mamba offense is rolling here in the early going. 9-6 Saskatoon lead. Off 1 foot, Powell can't get it to go. Averaging over 31 points per game through the first 4 contests to lead the league is Miles Powell. Bediaco's battle for the rebound. Charles comes up with it. Running the floor and laying it off the glass and in. Jaden with the open palm gesture. And Chaplin's three won't drop. Might need to get a couple oxygen tanks ready on the benches here, Eric, as these teams are both operating very quickly on offense. Our officials tonight, the crew chief is Neil Donnelly. The umpires, Chris Brischuk and Mitch Strong. As we've got substitution for Scarborough. Frank Mitchell in, he'll replace Charles Bediaco. Good solid first shift for him.
Yeah, and Frank Mitchell is an absolute beast. It's a two-headed monster up front for the Shooting Stars. Frank Mitchell just absolutely double-double everywhere he goes, whether that be at St. Bonnie's, also at Canisius, and he's averaging one again this year.
Here's Miles Powell. And some contact. They're going to count that bucket. And the foul will be on Fuller. Almost 4 minutes before we got our first foul, first real stoppage, if you want to call it that. I guess we had a couple out of bounds plays, but this one's just whipping by. As Trey Townsend will take his seat into the action for the first time this season here with the Mamba, Tevian Jones.
Yeah, you can see this pace of play is already picking up. Teams are open and willing to shoot it, whatever their first opportunity is. That'll lead to a pretty exciting game.
Certainly saw that in Scarborough a couple weeks back. Both coaches talking about their need to find a little bit more defensive identity, as they have had no trouble scoring, but the Mamba lead the league in points against, and the Shooting Stars are third in that category. This Western Conference game is presented by Cal Tire. Jamal Fuller. Sidestep three's good, and Jay Full's got a couple threes here in the early going. Mamba lead it by 1. Sims whips it around. Johnson, entry pass. Frank Mitchell, and he gets the soft bounce. That is a big body in the paint.
Yeah, it's a really different look for the Shooting Stars with him in the game. Bediaco can run and jump. More of a ground and pound guy with Mitchell, but he still gets the job done.
Tevian Jones reintroducing himself to the Bridge City faithful with a three-pointer. Mitchell looking to draw the foul. That'll count, and he'll get a shot. As he saw the tight defense there, and we've got a little bit of a meeting of the minds. Nothing too much there, though, as the Mamba let Powell know what they think about that particular play.
Yeah, whenever you try to cheat on a screen, Powell and those best scorers are going to make you pay. Jameer Chaplin tries to sneak under a screen. Powell rejects it, and trying to recover there, you foul him on the three-point shot. And he's a good enough shooter, he's going to make the shot and still get one more.
And he completes that 4-point play. Shooting Stars lead at 17-15 as we approach the midpoint of the opening quarter. Jones to his right, over the top of Mitchell, and he gets it to drop. 5 quick points for Tevian Jones. Ties it at 17. Two-man action here between Powell and Mitchell. Bounce pass inside. Mitchell trying to get around Bediako. Patience and good footwork there by Frank Mitchell.
Frank Mitchell's trying to get back to that right hand there. Jaden's got to stay solid, force him back, make him finish with his left.
Jones, 3, off back iron. Mamba shot 69% from deep in the first half against Scarborough in their first meeting. That cooled a little bit in the second half, but still starting off pretty good despite that last miss. They've been hitting some shots from outside. We've got substitutions here on both sides. Omahadi checking in for the Mamba. But before we get to the rest of the changes, we're going to step out here with 4:29 remaining in the opening quarter. And the Shooting Stars leading at 19-17. You're watching Canadian Elite Basketball League action live on CBC Gem, YouTube, and CEBL+.
Electrolyte, instant hydration.
Welcome back. Follow at CEB League on all social platforms to stay up to date on stats, storylines, and more for all 10 teams in Canada's Pro Basketball League. Well, we've already seen him score 5 points in his first game with the Mamba this season. For more on the newest member of the team, let's send it over to Katrin Hudson.
That's right. Well, Tevian Jones finished his season last year with Saskatoon, and he was a late addition to the team. But he had a standout performance, and he really proved his value. I know he really enjoyed his time here as well. I had the chance to speak to him on Friday, and he said he was excited to be joining the team at the beginning of the season, giving him some time to really work with everybody, to mesh. He played with Bediako and Devontae Bandu, who has yet to arrive, but otherwise the roster will mostly be new to him. It's going to be a really value added to the team. Tevian Jones, Coach Fox felt the same.
Easton Tim whistled for that foul, sending Frank Mitchell to the line. The Shooting Stars have yet to commit a foul here this afternoon. Evening if you're joining us from out in Scarborough or other parts eastward. Welcome. Ryan Flaherty, Eric Magnans, Katrin Hodson with you. A triple header Sunday here in the CEBL. Saw Ottawa beat Niagara earlier. Pardon me, Montreal, not Niagara. And Calgary and Edmonton meeting in Red Deer here today. Three-pointer won't go. Rebounded by Scarborough. Looking to add to a 3-point lead.
Three-pointers might be the name of the game tonight. That was our 13th three of the game already.
But Mitchell doing work in the paint. And with Bediako on the bench, that's going to fall to Tim and Townsend to try to slow him down inside. And Easton Tim has it knocked out by Mitchell. Ball will stay with Saskatoon, 16 on the shot clock. Jones, three-pointer, no. Miles Powell pull up three. Racing in for the loose ball there to get an extra opportunity. Great hustle, but no reward. Wise doing all he could to secure the ball. And an offensive foul at the other end as Mitchell steps in to take the charge.
Yeah, that's what Mitchell's known for. Again, he's more of an on-the-ground guy, stepping in, not going to try to block shots. You can see him down on the offensive end as well. Easton Tim, a younger guy, he's just going to make him feel his body the whole night.
That's the second foul on Tevian Jones. They're in the penalty now. The Stars have not been whistled for a foul, so 3 minutes, 18 seconds left in the quarter. Potential for Scarborough to add to their total from the free throw line. Obviously not on this one, but as we go forward here, as Jones will take a seat on the bench. Trey Thomas in the game now for Scarborough. Into the corner, Wise looking for three, but can't get it to Crop. Tavian Dunn-Martin, what a pass to a streaking Chaplin. Dunn-Martin, you know, the three-point shooting gets all the headlines, but he is piling up the assists here early in the season. That might have been his prettiest so far. Phoenix Wise into the paint. Mitchell coming through. Tough bounce on that one. Mamba down three. Tavian Dunn-Martin inside now. Brings it back out. 2.5 to play in the first quarter. Trey Townsend sings it over to the far side. Mahadi looking for three, no. Sims deflected away by Chaplin. Mahadi the other way. Numbers for the Mamba. Mahadi right up. Can't get it. The follow. Chaplin twisting, turning. No. And Mahadi gets another chance for Saskatoon. Tavian Dunn-Martin, three, no.
Ball's just not wanting to go in the basket here for the Mamba tonight. So far, everything's been in and out and around the rim. They're getting great shots, so they got to stay consistent.
Ball locked away. Will stay with Scarborough as Charles Bediako and Kellen Tynes check back in for the Shooting Stars. Cal Tire, proud partner and tire expert of the CEBL. Shop top tire brands and have peace of mind with Cal Tire's price match guarantee. Shop and book at caltire.com. Scarborough with a three-point lead inside for Bediako. And we talked with Scarborough head coach Tyrell Vernon about that very thing prior to the game. Says that's what he does on offense. He can get up and finish at the rim. Helps when you're 7 feet.
Yeah, we often as coaches refer to it as vertical spacing. Some guys can space the floor because of their shooting. Some guys can space the floor because of their height. Both have their challenges to guard.
There is the first foul against Scarborough. Comes with 1:32 remaining in the first quarter. Good one shaping up here in Saskatoon. Looking for Tim on the cut, but Sims stayed right with him, forced the turnover. Tynes looking inside, but pass was in behind Bediako. As they go to the deck, they're going to call a foul, I believe, on Tynes here. And they will call him for the push.
And the Mamba need to recognize the massive difference between when it's Tynes involved in a ball screen and Powell. Tynes not known for his shooting ability. He's more of a guy who's trying to get in the lane. Really great defender. And when Powell's out there, you have to make sure you don't give him an ounce of space because he's looking to put it up.
Tynes will certainly be putting in that effort on the defensive side. Tied for the league lead in steals, averaging 3 a game. So you know he's going to be getting in there, trying to strip that ball away. It comes up with the foul that time. Tavian Dunn-Martin way up high off the glass. no good. Trying to put it over top of the big man Sims. Amari Sims, pull up three, no. Tynes with the board. Stars doing a good job of the offensive glass here in the first quarter. Trey Thomas trying to get by TDM, and Tavian Dunmartin whistled for the foul. That is his first.
Mamba are in the bonus here, so we're going to be shooting 2 free throws. Got to lock down defensively for this final minute. 48 seconds left. Mamba want to control the clock so that they can get 2 more possessions here, but prevent the Shooting Stars. So look for them to play a little bit slower, hopefully in this first possession, and then manage the clock after that.
Trey Thomas, 87.5% from the free throw stripe this season, but misses the first one there. But he has been shooting it well, in fact, leading Scarborough both in field goal percentage and three-point percentage. Chaplin pulling up from just inside the free throw line, no. And Sims with the rebound. Thomas, that's true. And it's a 8-point Scarborough lead late in this first quarter. Mamba looking for a good possession to close out the frame. Shot clock, game clock, virtually identical. Mahadi sizes it up, gives it to Chaplin. To his left, inside, draws the contact. Shot won't go, but Jameer Chaplin will shoot free throws.
At the break here, I expect Coach Fox to probably talk about the defense. 27 points is just too many by the Shooting Stars here, and they're moving freely. They're doing what they want. They're coming off ball screens, making the reads they want for the players they want, getting the ball in the positions they want. So they got to really tighten up, enforce their will, and try to keep those hands off. Too many fouls in this first quarter.
Scarborough averaging nearly 102 points per game through their first 4, and that includes the 107 they put up in that massive comeback in the first meeting against the Mamba. By the way, that set a new franchise record for the Shooting Stars, their most points ever in a game, one more than the previous mark of 106, which they've done a couple of times. Hey there, look alive there, Coach. That one came close.
I didn't become a coach because I had good hands.
Kate Johnson had to look alive too, and behind. that one came towards her. So 1.2 seconds on the clock after the 1 for 2 from Chaplin. Well, we saw a late first quarter 3 from Teddy Allen on Friday, albeit with a little over 2 seconds left. So we'll see what kind of changes the Mamba have made to the defense in this particular scenario.
And you can see they've obviously talked about they're in a much better position already. Got to force them to catch the ball moving away from the basket. And if I would do anything in this position to not let Powles or Sims catch the ball. Those are the 2 dangerous 3-point shooters here on the floor.
Amir Sims towards the arc. Here comes the long inbound. Sims catches it. Turnaround, long 3. Oh, pretty well defended, but he still nearly got it to go. But this time it comes up empty. But it's still a very good start for the visiting Shooting Stars as they lead this one 27-20 after 1 quarter of play. We'll be back with more great CEBL action in just a couple minutes. You're watching CEBL live on CBC Gem, YouTube, and CEBL Plus. Welcome back inside the Snake Pit as we get set for second quarter action. The Scarborough Shooting Stars leading the Saskatoon Mamba 27-20. Ryan Flaherty, Eric Magnans, Katrin Hodson with you. And well, the Mamba, Eric, started out shooting pretty well from deep, but missing their last 5, and neither team really having much success now from beyond the arc. And that was a bit of a storyline in that first quarter.
Yeah, we knew they were going to come out willing to shoot it, and that they did. 21 threes attempted in this first quarter, but only 4 made. Great job by the Mamba holding the Shooting Stars to 1 of 10 in that first quarter, and a great job by the Mamba. Turnovers have been a problem this entire season, but so far only 2 in that first quarter. That's a big improvement.
And those Scarborough maybe 1 of 10 from deep. They are shooting from the field overall nearly 48% thanks to 10 of 13 from 2-point land. So obviously the Mamba getting exposed a little bit inside in that first quarter as we begin play in quarter number 2. Jameer Chaplin for Trey Townsend. Cut off. Turnaround shot won't go. Out of bounds, and both teams trying to sell the officials on possession, and it will be Scarborough basketball.
Yeah, 13 points in the first quarter by Shooting Stars centers. That's too many for the Mamba. Obviously, they were making a concerted effort to take away the 3-point line, but got to balance those two things out.
Javen Johnson, a little bit of room for him to pull up, and that is the second Scarborough 3 of the game.
Yeah, no room for him. He actually shot a higher percentage from 3 this past season in Italy than he did from 2, and he's been doing that all season here as well. So another guy you just got to watch out for the Mamba.
Mohamed Mahadi inside. Bediako, a little extra fake before laying that off the glass and in. Jaden Bediako's got 6 points, tied for the early scoring lead for Saskatoon, along with Jamal Fuller, who has 2 of those 3-point shots. We got an offensive foul being called here on Trey Thomas.
That one actually went against Sims there, battling in the post.
You're right, Sims 2-5, not 2.
Got the switch and went down in the post against Mahadi. Great job by Mahadi using his feet, fighting around. Got the call on Sims.
Amir Sims, 19 points, 13 boards in the first meeting between these two teams. As looks like Bediako's going to pick up this foul. Charles Bediako, that is. Indeed. 2
great first possessions here for the Mamba. Both times getting in the paint. One for a dish off to Bediako. Second one drawing a foul, also on Bediako. So great way to start the quarter here.
Well, Jameer Chaplin coming off an 18-point performance in Friday's win over Winnipeg. Dad's sticking around for this one too. Well, maybe a little bit more on that as we go forward here in this game, but he mentioned it after the game, said maybe he's my good luck charm. Might have to keep him here a little longer. As he hits them both. And the Mamba back within 6 here after that 3 to start the quarter by Scarborough. It's 30-24. Powell, 9 points in that opening quarter to lead the Shooting Stars. He's got Johnson in space. Javen Johnson, no. Bediako the board. Mahadi inside, nice feed to the cutting Townsend. And Trey Townsend trims a little more off the deficit. Sims now trying to back Townsend down, and Amir Sims, nice little touch on that turnaround shot.
Yeah, Sims so far this year has been really a 3-point shooter for the Shooting Stars, but getting some mismatches today, getting inside, getting a little more post-ups than we've seen so far.
Turnover by the Mamba. Back comes Scarborough. No hesitation. Thomas can't get it to go, and now Sims on the battle for the rebound picks up another one.
Yeah, 2 offensive fouls so far by Sims here. Both kind of tough calls where he's just trying to be physical and go at it. You got to find your limits here. We'll see. Coach Vernon's going to let him play.
That's the 3rd Scarborough foul in the quarter, so a little reversal of what we saw in the opening frame with Saskatoon piling up some early fouls. They have not been whistled for one yet here in the second as Tevian Jones brings it up the floor. Driving to his right, change of speeds, and I thought it was going to just stop on the rim there, but it does drop.
Yeah, Tevian's so long, he can extend his arm away from that shot blocker, get it up over top, and still has touch.
Powell pull up three, short. Mahadi with the rebound, and Powell with the foul. That's not going to count, obviously. First foul of the game on Miles Powell. 27 points in that win in Scarborough over Saskatoon, but it wasn't the most efficient night, as he was 8 of 21 from the field that night, just 4 of 15 from 3, but volume can also lead to success. Miles Powell, obviously the linchpin here for a team that can score from a lot of different areas, but he is obviously the cornerstone.
Yeah, that threat of shooting sometimes can be as effective as actually making the shots. We see that with TDM, even though he missed that one right there. The threat of TDM being able to shoot opens up so many other opportunities for different guys.
Mahadi trying to stay with Powell, and then the help from Chaplin. Breakaway for Mahadi, but he had trouble securing it and cannot get it over top of Javen Johnson. Three-pointer Thomas doesn't connect. Chaplin overran it. That was bizarre. And a miss at the other end. Lids going on the baskets. Mitchell swatted away by Townsend.
Great job of Townsend just being patient there, letting Mitchell catch his breath, go back to his right hand, and he was ready for him.
Pace has not slowed at all here in the second quarter. Almost 4 minutes gone by. Scoring, however, has slowed up as the defense is tight. Mahadi trying to get it in for Tim. And a foul called against Scarborough. That's going to send the Mamba to the line. That's the 5th in the quarter.
Yeah,
that's on Tynes. That's his 3rd of the day.
That's a quick 5 fouls here on the Shooting Stars to put the Mamba into bonus.
6 minutes and 5 seconds still remaining, and that prompts Tyrell Vernon to call a timeout. Try to get his team back on the same page. They do lead it 32-28. You're watching Canadian Elite Basketball League action live on CBC Sports, YouTube rather, CBC Gem, and CEBL Plus. Swish rocking the air guitar here inside SaskTel Center as the Saskatoon Mamba have tightened things up to begin this second quarter. Scarborough Shooting Stars still holding a 4-point lead, but getting a little scrambly to begin this period, Eric, and a timeout there by Tyrell Vernon just to calm the waters a little bit.
Yeah, great timeout by Tyrell. 5 early fouls here. You could tell his team's getting a little bit anxious, a little bit upset with how things are being called. Hey, calm yourselves down. You're still up 4. You had a great first quarter. Just need to get back to the basics.
So as we mentioned just before the break there, the Mamba now into the bonus for the rest of this quarter. Mo Mahadi shooting some free throws. He was key to that victory on Friday night. Scored the first 5 points in target score time for Saskatoon after Winnipeg had rallied back to tie the game from an 8-point deficit. He cannot connect on that opportunity, however. Mitchell off the glass and in.
That's a great possession out of a timeout for Scarborough. Frank Mitchell was an absolute beast in that first quarter. They go back to him there against the younger Easton Tim.
He's up to 9 points here in the opening half. Mahadi inside. Tim just took a beat there to let the defender fly by and put it off the glass. Wasn't even a full beat, like a half beat there for Tim, who's wearing a different number today in those Paw Patrol jerseys, 19 instead of 55 for those of you checking your programs. Powell all the way to the opposite corner. Johnson reverse is good. Stars lead it by 6. Tevian Jones now. He's gonna pull up from deep, but that won't go.
Yeah, you'd like to see a little more movement, a little more passing there for the Mamba, because that's what it's going to lead to. Getting out in transition. Great timeout here by Coach Fox in order to settle the troops back down.
Yeah, Isaiah Fox doesn't want to let things get going here and let the Stars start to heat up. So the timeout called with 4:47 remaining here in the opening half.
Yeah, it's been an absolute battle of styles here today. The Mamba really playing off pace, movement, trying to get the ball from side to side. The Scarborough Shooting Stars a little bit different, trying to find those matchups. They're trying to get TDM involved in action. They're trying to post up Amir Sims. Different ways to sort of attack it, and their big guys for Shooting Stars have been absolutely crucial tonight. A great little release valve where they've been able to attack.
New Era is the exclusive game uniform partner of the CEBL and all 10 of its teams from coast to coast. Pick up your official replica jerseys now by visiting cebl.ca. As we get a look at Isaiah Fox in that Mamba huddle, who was pretty excited to pick up his first CEBL victory on Friday, something you can relate to. Eric, what is it like to get that? Is it relief? Is it excitement? What are the emotions for the coach when you get that first win at this level?
I think it's a little bit of everything. It's exciting. It's the best feeling. You've been working for it, and we try not to talk about the results, but at the end of the day, that's what we're playing for. You're playing to win. So it's a pretty amazing feeling, pretty amazing time. Love that he was able to get that here in front of our home crowd and enjoy that with everybody else who's put a tireless amount of work into this franchise.
Let's check in with Katrin Hodson, who was listening in on that Saskatoon Mamba huddle.
Yes, in every huddle really in the first 2 quarters, Coach Fox's focus has been rebounds and defense, hyping the guys up. I think he's actually going to become known for the phrase, get back on defense, with possibly a few more expletives inserted. But really just getting them ready to go, keeping the energy positive, and defense, rebounds.
Thank you so much, Katrin. Yes, that is the watchword for both head coaches entering this matchup today, as Jamal Fuller back on the floor and back in the bottom of the bucket. He's got 8 points. And exactly what you want out of a timeout. And now Jones looking to double your pleasure. No. Bediako the board, and Jones this time with a little finger roll finish.
Great job of Bediako running the floor, not just assuming it's going to work out, but gets down there, offensive rebound, leads to a quick, easy bucket.
Just to tie onto that rebounding piece, 22-18, Stars out rebounding the Mamba at that timeout. As Mitchell gets another 2. 6-point lead for Scarborough. Under 4 minutes to go in the opening half. Tavian Dunmartin inside, over top of Mitchell, but that contest may have played a role in that miss. And now we've got a foul, and judging by the reaction, I think that's gonna go on Sims. That is his 3rd. So 2 Shooting Stars with 3 fouls here in the opening half in Sims and Tynes. And that will send Sims to the bench as Phoenix Wise checks back in.
Yeah, fouls will absolutely be a key to this game and something to watch going into the second half. Seeing how the Shooting Stars are going to make some alterations to how they're defending, trying to clean up some of those basic mechanical errors.
Jaden Bediako at the line. The elder of the Bediako brothers. 25 years old. And now his 3rd year as a pro. And 3rd season with the Mamba franchise, 2nd full year.
Well, and one of the first things he said to us as soon as he walked in the building was, my brother's going to be here in the second game. So he had this one absolutely circled on his calendar, ready to go.
And two of the nicest fellas you're ever going to get a chance to meet. So kudos to the Bediaco parents. Raised a couple of good ones. Mitchell and Jaden Bediaco will be called for that foul. That is his first.
Key for both these teams here is just you have to play hard, keep working at it. You know, they both are getting upset with how the game is being called. That's out of your control. Get back to what you control. Play hard, go for those offensive rebounds, and you're going to be just fine.
That is the first team foul against the Mamba here in the second quarter. But of course, it did come on a shot, so Mitchell to the line, misses the first. Frank Mitchell shooting under 59% from the stripe this season.
And he's been absolutely phenomenal this game. The one thing I'll say for the Mamba is he's always trying to get back to that right hand, so we got to stay on that left shoulder to force him to go to his left hand.
That's 14 points now for Mitchell, despite perhaps not doing his best work from the line, but he's filling it up for the Shooting Stars. And now another whistle. And that's going on Phoenix Wise, who picks up his second of the game. So this will certainly be a theme to keep our eyes on in the second half for Scarborough as their foul numbers continue to climb. Still 3 minutes plus to go in this first half. Tavian Dunmartin, though, can't cash in on the first attempt. It was Tavian Dunmartin winning the ball game from the free throw line on Friday night, going 2 for 2. After a mystifying foul committed by Jeremiah Tillman at the very other end of the floor.
Hey, as a coach, you'll take a win however you can get it. So, hey, if it means the other team's going to make a mistake, that's all right. And generally, that's actually how Tiger Time works. It's not about making pretty plays. It's about making gutsy ones and being able to finish when it all comes on the line.
The initial shot was well defended, but the foul goes. Scarborough, despite their scoring cooling off in the second quarter, their defense has tightened up, so they've been able to maintain the lead that they held after one. And now a turnover and a fast break opportunity. Here goes Powell running the floor and laying it in. No time wasted by Saskatoon. Jameer Chaplin for three. No. But a foul on the putback try. That one goes on Javen Johnson. That's his first.
Hey, great job by the Mamba not worrying themselves about a turnover the previous possession that leads to a run out. Get the ball up the court quick, and also miss shot, go for that offensive rebound. You end up on the line.
Mention a couple of lineup notes as Marcus Harding once again unavailable for Saskatoon here today, attending to a personal matter. And of course, no Jalen Williams as well. But again, both players expected back in the relatively short term. And Dejuan Gordon also still out due to injury, although it looks like his recovery is progressing fairly well. Still no official word on his expected return, but there's some optimism that he may be ready to go for June 6th, the next game the Mamba play, which will be in Kelowna against the Vancouver Bandits.
Yeah, great to see his sort of progression there. He's moving much better today than he was 2 days ago. And also this foul trouble here has produced an interesting lineup for the Scarborough Shooting Stars, going double big lineup here. I don't know if they've even done this all season, but foul trouble would push coaches to do different things. Let's see what they can do out of it.
Yeah, Tynes and Sims both in foul trouble, so they're on the bench. And an empty possession for Scarborough. Fuller up the floor. Chaplin another corner three, and this time too strong. A little overcompensation from the first miss. Johnson nearly lost the handle, but finds a wide open man in the corner. That's Mitchell kicking it back out. Javen Johnson for three.
And that's all about knowing the scout. Over closing out to Mitchell on the three, not needed. Got to stay down on that because then he's looking to attack that closeout, get it to a shooter who's an absolute knockdown guy.
Townsend now slashing inside. Back the other way, but the pass off target. Fuller appealing for a kickball, but no, it looks like they will get that call, so it will remain with Saskatoon. Lotto Max now gives you even more chances to win with new prizes of $100,000 every draw. Get your Lotto Max ticket today. Must be 18 plus. Tim looking for an option, finds Tavian Dunn-Martin. Shot clock winding down. Tim, pull up two is good. It's not his most comfortable spot on the floor, but Easton Tim looking pretty natural there.
Yeah, that's 2 elbow jumpers by Mamba centers today. They're working on it in skill development.
Wise for three, comes up off back iron. Charles Bediako outreaches Tim for the rebound, and he'll go to the line for a chance at three.
Yeah, it's going to be all about gang rebounding for the Mamba here. They've got a lot of big bodies on the floor for the Shooting Stars. Can't expect it just to be a one-on-one matchup. It's got to be all 5 guys on the glass.
And that foul's on Jamal Fuller as he came over to try to provide some help defense. And the our Bediako's better chant comes from the stands. I can tell you, I was talking with Charles before the game, saying the family's pretty fired up for this meeting of the brothers. Trey Townsend, 3-point opportunity, no, and ball went out of bounds. As Tevian Jones and Mo Mahadi check back in for the final minute of the half. Townsend and Fuller will head to the bench.
Yeah, with these substitutions here, the Mamba just got really small. So we got to see how they can rebound here. Got to be 5 guys.
Stars looking for their largest lead of the game. Powell driving and floating it home. And it's a dozen, the advantage for Scarborough as they add to their lead late in the half. Tavian Dunn-Martin looking for a 2-for-1, pull-up 3. Oh, Chaplin just missed the putback. TDM, another chance for 3. That's good. After a lot of misses, the Mamba finally get another 3 to drop. It's a 9-point game, 15 seconds left in the half, 2-second, maybe a 1.5 differential. Game clock, shot clock. Mahadi with the strip. He thought it was clean, but the officials saw it differently, and Mahadi called for his first foul of the game.
Hey, the officials have been consistent on that tonight. Whenever you're attacking a shooter here, they're calling it. So we got to keep our hands out of the cookie jar. I know it's tempting to reach. Powell has an interesting release where he actually brings the ball quite low, but he's almost baiting you into reaching in there. That's the 2nd foul on a 3-point shot tonight for him.
And if anyone's the most likely to be reaching in, it's probably going to be Mo Mahadi, as he does lead the Mamba with 2.2 steals per game, which is actually among the top 5 in the league as well, which is quite the thing to say about a youth sports developmental player who's just playing his 5th game as a pro. But he came in with that pedigree, that brand, as a really tenacious defensive player with active hands, but still learning to pick his spots a little bit better against some of these savvy pros.
Yeah, you got to love that he's accepting the challenge, playing against a guy who's got NBA experience, not backing down, trying to really get up and guard in that, but you got to just find your spots.
Powell making the first free throw. As he looks to put the finishing touches on another solid scoring half. But he misses the second one. One last chance here for the Mamba. Chaplin puts it on the deck. Turnaround jump shot. No good, and that will bring us to the end of the half. The Scarborough Shooting Stars grab the lead very early in the first quarter, and they haven't looked back. It's a 10-point advantage after 20 minutes of play, as they lead it 53-43. And really getting contributions from a lot of different places in that first half here.
Yeah, great contributions from a number of different players. Got to make sure that they're playing with a great pace right now. Got to make sure it doesn't get too scrambly, that they stay in control so that they can dictate what happens on the defensive end as well.
14 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists, and a steal. Pretty good first half of work for Miles Powell, and he is standing by with Katrin Hodson.
Miles, that was a quick first half. How are you feeling?
I don't feel like I had a good half, but my team is playing good. We up 10 points. This is out of 4 games. This is probably the first game that we're going into halftime with a lead. So as one of the older guys on the team, I'm just trying to get them together and come out and have a better second half than the first half.
What's your focus going to be in that second half?
Defense. That's been one of the last things that we've been preaching the last 2 games. Last game, we gave up 37 points in 1 quarter. That was a record. So just trying to get better on the defense end.
All right, thank you so much, Miles. Good luck in the second half.
Thank you so much, Katrin. Miles Powell dialed into the numbers there, just referencing that 37-point first quarter that they gave up to the Calgary Surge on Thursday. But there you go. He's acutely aware of the statistics. He did have a pretty solid first half, tied with Frank Mitchell for the team scoring lead with 14 points after 1 half of play. Coming up in our halftime, a celebration of Asian figures across the CEBL in honor of Asian Heritage Month. Katrin will talk with Scarborough Shooting Stars head coach Tyrell Vernon. We'll look at the first half stats and revisit Eric's players to watch. Lots of action still to come as we hit the half here inside the Snake Pit. It's the Shooting Stars leading the Mamba 53-43. You're watching Canadian Elite Basketball League action live on CBC Gem, YouTube, and CEBL+.
He retreats, able to maintain the possession. Fuller, 3-ball, you bet! Again, first to 107 wins. Mamba need 4 points, and right there, the Shooting Stars will take 3 from Johnson. Tynes picks the pocket, now he'll get the feed in transition. Tynes watches it through, and a little momentum swing here, perhaps.
Scarborough did their job, but they got to score.
Powell crossover to his left, 3-ball from the parking lot.
There it is. The Scarborough Shooting Stars have come alive on defense and offense.
Miles Powell telling the crowd to get into it, and a block down low. Johnson all over it. Shooting Stars with a chance to take the lead. Powell, heat check. Off the mark. Offensive board picked up. Sims down low, up with the right, and we're tied at 103.
It's a new ball game.
Mahadi trying to weave his way inside. Sims, oh, with the lefty hook, says, get that out of here. Let's see if he pushes. Johnson wants to push, goes inside, swinging it. Sims, ball game, yes! Hello, 3-0. The Shooting Stars complete one of the wildest comebacks you will ever see.
It means a lot to me. It gives me a chance to celebrate my culture, Indian heritage, and display it through the game I love.
You know, it's all about love. At the end of the day, we're all the same people, and it's all about love and appreciating each other and, you know, having a good time.
Asian Heritage Month means a lot. It gives me, particularly a Filipino, the opportunity to be proud of where I'm from, to celebrate our culture, to encourage those around us to continue to celebrate our culture, and to spread light on the Filipinos.
My Indian culture showed me that hard work and discipline are very important, and I try to carry that through my game.
And that cultural background has bred into me the value of working really, really hard, not just physically on the court when I used to play basketball, but also with your brain and all of your energy. So a lot of hard work, and also humility. So it couples together hard work and humility.
I think we've been instilled to be disciplined. We've been instilled to be fast. We've been instilled to be on the ball all the time. And I think that's what I take away professionally as well.
Both my parents are of Filipino descent, so we have a certain type of style of play, and we're really gritty, we're really physical, and I don't know if that's particularly due to maybe our size. We're traditionally not very big people, so to be able to have some success in a big person or a tall person sport, you got to have certain grit, aggressiveness.
To be able to serve my food at the CAA Center for the Honey Badgers is such a milestone. You know, I want families and kids to come here, watch the game, embrace that Punjabi Canadian food is being served at the game, and it's a way for them to be close to their culture, to their roots, through basketball, through sports, and through food.
I definitely feel like it is a responsibility to show young children that they can be in this space, and the only way that we can do that is taking up space authentically and being involved. And I never want children to feel like they have to choose between their culture and their passions. They can do both, and they can be in both spaces.
It helps open door, and it feels like the path is more achievable, and just being able to be present, it helps like it feels more comfortable for the people that are the younger generation that are coming up.
Asian basketball has been in the come up for a while now. As an Asian basketball player, we're kind of like representing that whole continent of like, we're on the come up and all that, right?
Over the years, as I've gotten older, I feel more of a responsibility because I understand that, Indian kids are looking up to me and they find motivation in watching me play.
There's room for us in these spaces, and I want the next generation to feel that earlier than we did.
Lotto Max now has more?
Oh yeah, like up to 90 new prizes of $100,000 on every draw.
Yeah, right. And aliens exist.
What? Lotto Max has more prizes?
Yeah, that's more chances to win.
Sure. And horses can fly.
No way.
A matchup between the Bediako bros. This certainly wasn't the only thing to talk about in that first half, but it was fun to watch those two guys go to work. Jaden and Charles both contributing at both ends here for their teams in that first half, Eric.
Yeah, absolutely. Despite the pace and the shooting, there's been 35 threes in that first half. It's been the big guys who have been the consistent parts throughout this. Jaden's done a great job of just managing the tempo, getting on the glass, finishing up all those easy things. A bunch of rebounds, including an offensive one that led to a layup by Jameer Chaplin as well. So it's about staying consistent there, playing out of there, and allowing him to be able to move the ball to the open shooters. And Charles has done a great job as well, attacking the floor, playing with pace. He's been finishing the ball above the rim, getting rebounds, and he's getting himself to the line. It's those big guys, along with Frank Mitchell, who's also been a beast in this first half, that have actually set the tone in a game where we expected a lot more from three.
And Charles Bediako with the slight statistical edge on his older brother here in that first half. 8 points, 5 rebounds. Jaden with 7 points and 4 rebounds. So yes, very close between the two of them. All right, let's take a look at the stats here from that first half. And as you can see, the biggest difference standing out right at the top there, that field goal percentage. The three-point shooting and the free throw shooting, not that pretty for either side, but Scarborough, Eric, making the biggest difference. A lot of different guys getting involved, and they've just been a lot more consistent inside.
Absolutely. If you're shooting 50% from field goal but only 70% from three, that means you're scoring a lot whenever you're shooting it inside the key. So they're doing a great job of getting the ball inside, getting easy baskets. Tougher situation here for the Mamba. They've had a number of great shots that have sort of rimmed out, but they've got to absolutely be more physical inside, put more of a resistance around the rim.
Is this one of those games where you see the defense, because we know both teams want to tighten up their defense, is it schematic or is it just about effort and intensity because the pace is so high here?
The great part of a game like this that has this sort of pace is you're never out of it. As we saw in Scarborough, you are never out of these games. So who can catch fire? It's going to take a couple quick possessions to gain some momentum and try to build a run off of that. But it's important for the Mamba to come out here early in the third quarter to try to set that tone.
All righty, more halftime coming up as we continue on towards the third quarter. We'll step out. You're watching Canadian Elite Basketball League action live on CBC GEM, YouTube, and CEBL+.
at caltire.com.
Welcome back to SaskTel Center as we get closer to third quarter action between the Saskatoon Mamba and Scarborough Shooting Stars. And Katrin Hodson is standing by with Scarborough head coach Tyrell Vernon.
All right, Coach, 10-point lead heading into the second half. How are you feeling about that first half?
You know, I thought it was decent. I thought, you know, defensively, I thought it was some of our best stuff that we've had so far this season. We got back in transition the way we had to, but, you know, it's a tale of two halves, so we just got to make sure we come with the same intensity second half.
Your team knows as well as anybody, probably better, how quickly these things can turn around. What are the keys for the second half?
I think you just got to play the same way. You got to just focus in on the scout. You know, we kind of now identified some new pieces that they've had that they didn't have in the past. So again, understanding the KYP, making sure we kind of stay in front, just force contested jump shots.
Great, thanks, Coach. Good luck in the second half. Back to you, Ryan.
Thank you so much, Katrin and Coach Vernon. Someone you know pretty well, Eric.
Yeah, Coach Vernon and I go way back. We had the opportunity to play together for 2 years at McMaster University and had a great experience. So he's a great guy. His coaching experience is deep. He went out to St. FX and is now the head coach at St. FX as well as a season with the Calgary Surge.
He did indeed. That was a couple of years ago. Yes, great guy and a great coach to have for this young Scarborough team that doesn't have a single player with prior CEBL experience, albeit they do have a few handful of seasoned pros on that squad. Eric, you identified some players to watch prior to this afternoon's matchup, so let's revisit those. Of course, we were looking at the Bediaco bros. We talked a little bit about them in that highlight pack, but a little bit more on those two fellows.
Yeah, for these guys, it's all about efficiency in a game like this. You look at those field goal percentages, they're making the most out of every single opportunity that they're getting. They're running the floor, they're getting ready to set screens, get those shooters open. Hopefully those shooters convert a little more here in the second half, but regardless, they're running the floor, they're getting those rebounds, they're kicking it out for those open three-point shooters.
So we'll see which brother emerges and wins the family bragging rights here. Again, talking with both of them before this game, there was a lot of excitement. I mean, you referenced in the first half, Jaden was fired up even before the last game. He almost had to think, hey, are you focused on Winnipeg? he was fired up, but clearly he had a very good game on Friday, so he was able to put that aside and wait for this matchup. But yeah, the guys who have played together for a long time, but now getting a chance for the first time really in any sort of competitive setting to go head-to-head. So, as we get close to the third quarter here, when we talked about Winnipeg, we heard from Coach Vernon, Scarborough, we heard from Coach Vernon and what he would like to see from his team in the half. If you're Isaiah Fox, what are you telling your team coming into this second half?
Yeah, absolutely. It's about being consistent, continuing to be aggressive. They got Scarborough in a ton of foul trouble because they were aggressive and continued that aggression. But they have to do a much better job of being physical on the inside, getting those rebounds. 9 offensive rebounds by the Mamba in the first half led to a lot of their points. They've got to continue to attack the glass, attack the paint, and try to create some more opportunities from three.
As we're just about ready to go here. Just looking at some of the numbers from Saskatoon, a pretty even distribution of scoring. Tevian Jones leading the Mamba with 9 first half points. Jamal Fuller with 8. And Jaden Bediaco and Jameer Chaplin with 7 apiece. And of course, mentioned Miles Powell, Frank Mitchell, 14 each for Scarborough. And Charles Bediaco with 8.
And the Shooting Stars have taken an interesting approach to try to limit TDM's impact on this game. They're face guarding him. They're trying to prevent him from getting the ball, almost making it a 4-on-4 game for the Mamba. You can tell at certain times that's made the Mamba a little bit uncomfortable, but they've got to look to see how they can attack that in the second half.
David Dunmartin, 6 points in the first half as the Shooting Stars begin the half with a slam from Charles Bediaco. And Dunmartin was held to just 9 points in that first matchup against Scarborough and 0 after the first half. So clearly they've identified a way to defend him, and it's working again here so far today. Bediaco going to try another longer one over his brother, but this time it doesn't go.
I like what the Mamba are trying to do there, trying to post up. I'd like to see Jaden be a little more aggressive, try to force an early foul there.
Shooting Stars leading it by 12. Powell launching from deep. No, and Trey Townsend flies in for the rebound. Sees a bit of daylight now. Swings it into the corner. Chaplin right back over to Townsend. Johnson watching him towards the baseline, and runs into Bediako, who came over to provide the help. Johnson pull up three, just offline.
And this is bitter danger time for the Mamba. Down 12, they got to get some good possessions. That's a great look in transition.
Perfectly executed fast break there with Chaplin finishing it off. And now Powell, show and go, kicks it back outside, but looks like he's going to be whistled for the offensive foul as Chaplin stepped in to take the contacts. That's the second foul on Miles Powell here today. And just a refresher, if you're joining us late on some of the foul numbers, Amir Sims and Kellen Tynes each picking up 3 in the first half for Scarborough. No Mamba with more than 2. Chaplin, a little bit of space, lets it go. No, Jaden Bediako rolls it over the rim.
Hey, that's also a great look. They're really looking to take away TDM here. We're going to have to find someone who's willing to be aggressive. Right now, that looks like it could be Jameer.
Tynes, that was well off target. 8-point Stars lead. Fuller blocks. Bediako able to secure it before it went out of bounds. Fuller comes back in, no. And Johnson gets the rebound. Quickly up for Tynes. Slashing inside and puts it home. Kellen Tynes put his name all over the stat sheet in the last meeting between these teams. 8 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, 4 steals, doing a little bit of everything. A very useful player for Scarborough as Tavian Dunn-Martin is fouled on the take. That's Powell's third.
And despite that foul right there, you got to love the energy that the Shooting Stars have come out with to start this second half. Really good composure that hasn't limited their aggression despite the foul trouble from the first half.
Tavian Dunn-Martin, couple of free throws, makes the first. And he will forever go down in history as the first ever target score winner for the Saskatoon Mamba. That was his first target score winner in the CEBL. It did not have any with Montreal last year, despite being their offensive leader. Of course, the Alliance didn't win that many games last year, so the opportunities are somewhat limited, but still a little surprising. As we've got a foul against the Mamba here, and that one's on Chaplin. His second.
Gotta love the emotion from Chaplin. He's digging in, he's trying to get that stop right there. Move on to the next play, do that right again.
This Western Conference game is presented by Cal Tire. Saskatoon no longer sitting in the basement of that Western Conference thanks to their win on Friday, but now looking to go back-to-back. However, Shooting Stars have been able to keep them at just a bit of arm's length for most of this game. Powell, though, appealing for a foul. It doesn't come. Fuller inside. Bediako with the flush.
Great look by Fuller. Could have easily shot that three. Saw the big man running and rewarded him.
Miles Powell still talking to the officials. The thing, he got a tug on the jersey on that last trip down the floor. Tynes now. Thought he was going to take that up, but kicks it to the corner instead for Johnson. That's the right call as Javen Johnson knocks down the three-pointer.
He's long and he's got a really high release, so even when you're closing out there, you're already too late.
That's the third three-pointer of the game. 3 of 7 from deep for Johnson. Chaplin now to his right, high off the glass, and it's not necessarily what you put in a training video, but Jameer Chaplin, his physical fundamentals are so strong that he's still balanced when he puts that shot up like that.
He's so strong and a surprising athlete. We've seen it a couple times when he's gone for putbacks this year. Hasn't converted one yet, but there's a highlight coming.
Mamba down 7. Dunn-Martin, a little too high on that pass. Chaplin couldn't haul it in.
You can just see the impact of Charles Bediako there on the defensive end. Great job by TDM of getting into the key, but his wingspan is there. So even when he's got a little bit of space, it doesn't feel like it's quite enough.
Easton Tim Tevian Jones back in for Saskatoon. Come see the new chapter of professional basketball here in Saskatoon. Tickets available by scanning the QR code or by visiting saskatoonmamba.ca/tickets. as Tynes tries to slash his way inside. Back out for Powell. Change of hands inside, and that'll be a turnover added to the slate for Scarborough.
I love that the Mamba are trying to force Tynes to be a scorer. He is a distributor. That's who he wants. They're doing a great job not overcommitting to the help, being able to close out to these shooters, being ready for their next rotations.
Isaiah Fox talked about making a little bit of an adjustment today to how they defend Miles Powell, and he compared it to the way that the Mamba handled Teddy Allen on Friday against Winnipeg, just in terms of the way that they look at him in an ISO and their gap control. So far they've limited him somewhat, but the Shooting Stars are getting some of the supporting cast chiming in as we get subs on both sides here. Frank Mitchell back in, along with Trey Thomas for Scarborough. Mo Mahadi returning to action for Saskatoon, along with Trey Townsend, who is defending Sims now. Thomas, bounce pass. Mitchell runs into Easton Tim, but able to pivot back, and there's a little left hand that they're trying to force him to, Eric, but he got it down there.
Hey, I appreciate the adjustment. Sometimes guys are just that good.
Townsend inside. Tim, bit of a mismatch. Oh, beauty feet underneath, but a block by Mitchell. Jones sticks with it and finishes the job.
Great job by Tevian here. Hasn't had a lot of practice time with the guys, trying to find his way, continuing to be able to cut, move, be an aggressive scorer, because that is who he is.
Jones into double digits now with 11 points and a walk there.
You know what? Fourth foul here on Tynes.
Pardon me, yeah, Tynes called for the hook around there. Excuse me. So that's his fourth, and yeah, he's got a shake of the head saying, I can't believe it.
Yeah, that's an absolutely big foul. Tynes has done a great job on TDM so far today. So looking to have him out of the game. Maybe we can look to free up TDM a little bit more.
And that's going to take us to a timeout with 4:27 remaining in the third quarter. The Mamba chipping away at this lead. It is still the Scarborough Shooting Stars, though, leading it by 7, 62-55. You're watching the Canadian Elite Basketball League live on CBC Gem, YouTube, and CEBL+. Back inside the Snake Pit, midway through the third quarter, Shooting Stars lead the Mamba 62-55, and as he has been throughout their season so far, Miles Powell playing a key role here on the offensive end for Scarborough, Eric.
Just an absolute dynamic scorer. His threat of being able to score is always there, so you can never feel comfortable. He's explosive at all times. Absolute quick release, so when you're attacking, you got to be ready at all times. He hasn't made a ton of threes tonight, but he's already been fouled on 2 threes because of his explosiveness and his ability to shoot at all times.
As we return to action with under 4.5 minutes to go in the third quarter. Inside for Easton Tim, and nice little adjustment. He draws the contact. He'll go to the line.
Yeah, good little action out of there. We refer to that as a Spain ball screen, where there's a little back screen on the screener there. Tough one for TDM to set a back screen on Frank Mitchell, but he did just enough to free up Easton Tim there.
That one on Javen Johnson, his second of the game. Tim at the stripe, 43% on the year, and a small sample size, we shall say. A double-double machine, in fact, averaged 16 and 12 last year with the Saskatchewan Huskies, on his way to another all-star selection, and in fact led the entire country in rebounding. The third-year Husky. Frank Mitchell over top of Tim, and that's a nice soft touch by the big man Mitchell.
Yeah, he's showing us a little bit of everything. Catches that one out and looks to attack with a little floater.
6'8", but a sturdy 6'8" is Frank Mitchell. Mahadi sheds the defender, can't get it to go, pep back, no. Mitchell battling for the rebound, and just to find an opening.
Yeah,
headed up to Thomas.
Headsy play there, falling to the ground, keeping his composure, finding his point guard.
Trey Thomas, too strong off the glass, was anticipating some resistance there. Davian Dunn-Martin gets the screen from Tim, launches and hits his second three-pointer of the afternoon, now into the evening here in Saskatoon.
Transition screens are some of the hardest actions to guard. Nobody's back yet, trying to communicate, lots of things happening. Great way to free up TDM.
Mahadi, a little too much on the reach once again, as he gets whistled for his second foul. Here come Jameer Chaplin and Jaden Bediako back in. Townsend and Tim will hit the bench. Charles Bediako says, hey, you can't have just one Bediako on the floor. I'm going to come back out too. He'll spot off Amir Sims.
Going back to that double big lineup here for Scarborough. 3 other shooters on the court. Going to try to probably play it of Frank Mitchell and that sort of advantage they have in the post here.
2-man action here on the near side. Mitchell ISO'd inside, trying to swing it to the corner, but that well out of the reach of Thomas, thanks to a bit of a deflection from Townsend. So Stars will keep the ball, just 4 seconds on the shot clock, however.
The Mamba knew what they were going to do there. They were looking to send a double team. Good job of Frank Mitchell, though, getting it away. Hands on the weak side by the Mamba to force it out of bounds.
It's Johnson inside. Bediako didn't release that ball in time. That is a shot clock violation. Even if it had fallen through the hoop, would not have counted. The Mamba have a chance to get within one possession here, Eric.
Yeah, they're chipping into this lead, down to a 5-point game. They've done a good job of just staying consistent, forcing their way through it, making possessions really hard here on the Shooting Stars.
Outscored Scarborough by 5 here in the third quarter. So we're down close to 2.5 minutes remaining. Jones, a lot of contact there from Wise, trying to blanket Jones, and a little too snug on the coverage that time.
Yeah, the Shooting Stars have been physical on the perimeter this entire night. It's led to a number of fouls, but they're sticking with it.
That's number 3 on Phoenix Wise, as Miles Powell checks back in after a brief respite. Tevian Jones to the line. While we have a second, let's send it over to Katrin Hodson, who's got a little bit more on the Chaplin father-son connection.
Yes, we talked a little bit about Jameer's dad being here on the sidelines last game. He is back again sitting courtside today. When I talked to both of them Friday, Jameer said seeing his dad on the sidelines just keeps him very calm and collected. His dad also said he loves visiting Saskatoon. Said his favorite thing about being here is that the tables have turned, and when they go out, Jameer's not his son, he's Jameer's dad. And that was something he said with a lot of pride.
Thanks so much, Katrin. Love those family stories. Family's so important to your success as a professional athlete, and having that support means so much, whether it's near or far, as the teams trade fouls. Mamba back within 3 here. They haven't led this game since it was 2-0.
We talked about it at halftime, trying to pick up that defense, especially within the key. They've done a great job. Only 12 points. Great offensive foul right here. Good job of Mo Mahadi stepping in, taking that charge, keeping it.
And that's number 4 on Miles Powell as well. With still 2:03 remaining here in the third quarter. How about the young gun Mahadi, just fearless. We've talked about it all season. He is not shy away from any matchup. And he stepped in and took that charge from Miles Powell. It's season 5 from the ends. Be a part of the action from the Toronto Pan Am Sports Center by scanning the QR code or visiting shootingstars.ca/tickets. So looks like Powell might be coming off here in a moment as there is a player ready to check in for Scarborough. Jameer Chaplin, long two, well contested. And Trey Thomas sprinting up the floor.
Yeah, as soon as Coach Fox saw that Powell was still in the game, he told Jameer to go right at him. Tried to draw that 5th foul before he could get out.
Powell trying to draw a foul on Chaplin there, but this time does not get the whistle. Ball out of bounds, and that will bring Javen Johnson back in for Miles Powell. Now we'll figure Tyrell Vernon wants to save him for crunch time, so it might not be until, I don't know, 6-7 minutes left on the game clock that we will see him again. We'll see how Coach Vernon decides to handle this.
Yeah, I think you're going to see. They've been struggling to score this quarter. I wouldn't be surprised if they bring him back earlier if that keeps continuing. It's about getting to target time, but you want to be in striking distance once you're there.
Mamba looking to flip the script here on Scarborough. Mahadi stripped, good hands by Wise as the St. FX products strips the Saskatchewan products. Thomas up and over Jaden Bediako. High degree of difficulty on the finish there.
A great left-hand finish there. Makes it look like he's going to jump into his body and still gets it out over top.
You know, Jaden Bediako does such a much better job of avoiding getting into foul trouble, but with only one so far, maybe he can afford to get a little more handsy on that. Either way, he gets 2 points at the other end.
I love how the Mamba are attacking this two big lineup right there. They set a down screen for Trey. Frank Mitchell and Bediako haven't been in a lot of down screens together over their career, so they weren't sure how to handle it. Not only does it lead to an open shot, but it led to an offensive rebound.
Johnson didn't get the hammer that he was looking for, but the end result the same. 2 points, under 20 seconds to go. Jones racing down the floor as they move it around. Now Mahadi to the corner. Tevian Jones spots up and knocks it down. And the Mamba back within 2. One last chance here for Scarborough. Johnson gets to space. Well, that comes up short. Pretty good look there for Javen Johnson at the buzzer. But the Mamba with a real good third quarter. They were down 10 at the half, but it's a one-possession game as we head to quarter number 4. Another tight one here between the Shooting Stars and the Mamba. Don't go anywhere. Big finish still to come. You're watching the Canadian Elite Basketball League live on CBC Gem, YouTube, and CEBL Plus. Back inside the snake pit as we prepare for fourth quarter action, and Charles Bediako is the contributor to this cruise of the game presented by Cal Tire. And that's the alley-oop. That's Charles Bediako's bread and butter at the offensive end. When you're a 7-footer, you want to see that from your big men, and A lovely finish there by Charles Bediako, who has been rather quiet offensively in the second half, but still 10 points, 6 rebounds. And big brother Jaden, 13.7 boards. So he took the reins in that third quarter from his baby bro. As we begin the third quarter, Ryan Flaherty, Eric Magdans, Katrin Hodson with you in a 2-point game. Mamba looking to tie it up. Jones with the offensive rebound. On Johnson, pulls it up, comes up short.
Yeah, the number of that third quarter was 15. 15 offensive rebounds by the Mamba have been a huge part in their comeback here. And then 15 points as well. They held the Shooting Stars to 15 points, which is their best quarter of the year.
Thomas on the drive, count that basket. A tough 2 there for Trey Thomas. As Jamal Fuller picks up his 3rd foul.
The Shooting Stars are going to look for a little bit more here from Thomas than what they usually do with the foul trouble that they have at their guard position. So far this game, he's done a great job at controlling tempo, finding those open shooters. Now he's got to be a scorer.
Got a quick second here. I do want to acknowledge a bit of a milestone a little bit earlier for Tavian Dunn-Martin, as he's surpassed 500 career points in the CEBL now. After his first 6 of the game, he's up to 11 now. And done all that since the start of last season. Jaden Bediako with an and one chance for himself now, as he's quickly filling up his bucket with points.
You see a lot of times up top when Tavian Dunn-Martin's got the ball, those defenders really want to reach and sort of gamble at it. He does a great job of getting by them. And once he's by them, the Mamba will be able to create really great shots.
And Bediako completes the 3-point play. Mamba down by 1. Shooting Stars led it by 10 points at the half. So far have scored just 17 here in the second half. Thomas outside, Javen Johnson pull up for 3 over Chaplin. No, but there's Phoenix Wise. Great job on the rebound, and then he gives it away. Jones over to Chaplin. Looking for room inside, off the glass, doesn't get the roll. Stars trying to keep their nose out front here. Javen Johnson, that's a travel.
Great job by the Mamba, getting back, communicating, a little bit of mismatch situations. They communicated their way through it, forced the travel. Coach Fox here looking to prep himself already for target time, getting Bediako out of the game early, getting Easton Tim back in, keeping him fresh for that target time finish.
Tynes, we haven't seen him in a while, of course, in some foul trouble of his own, got his 4th early in that third quarter, but he's back out now for Scarborough, as the Mamba once again with a chance to take the lead. Dunn-Martin, 2-man with Tim. He keeps it himself and hits. Tavian Dunn-Martin starting to heat up here in the second half, and the Mamba have their first lead since it was 7-4.
Well, and that foul trouble is absolutely affecting the Shooting Stars. That matchup there was Thomas on TDM. All night it's been Tynes when he's been in the game. They're trying to protect him. So they have Thomas, creates a little extra space for TDM to get open.
Turnaround for Sims, well short. Jones sprinting, lost it, blocked away, and out of bounds. Last touched by Scarborough. Looks like Tyrell Vernon wants a timeout on that Shooting Stars bench, as he's seen his team lose a double-digit lead here in the second half. The roles reversing from that first meeting in Scarborough a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, and so it's far more been about what the Mamba have changed and what the Mamba have done. They've been able to pick up their defense, stay consistent, and be attacking the rim. That's forced a ton of foul trouble here on the Shooting Stars and affected how they can do their rotations, affected how they're looking to attack offensively, and that's led to a number of 3-point opportunities for the Mamba. It hasn't been a great shooting game tonight, but they've been able to be consistent, stay with their game, and over the last little while here, hopefully down the stretch, they can keep that shooting going.
They are starting to get some success from outside, and threes coming at important times as well. The Mamba now 7 of 24 from downtown for 29%. That's starting to tick upwards. The Shooting Stars, meanwhile, just 4 of 25 from deep. Even I can do that math. That's 16%, Coach. That is not a flattering number. Of course, we know how things finished in the last meeting. The Mamba, thanks to a strong second half, took a 10-point lead into target score. They built it up to 15. They were 4 points away from the finish line, and then Scarborough ripped off 19 straight to win the ball game. So we'll see how things play out here over the next 340, but that obviously is a subplot as we go forward here. The Scarborough Shooting Stars travel home to host the Calgary Surge back at the Toronto Pan Am Sports Centre for their second matchup of the season. Tip-off Saturday, June 6th is at 7 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Mountain. As for the Mamba, they travel for an out-of-market game when they face the Vancouver Bandits in Kelowna, BC, as part of Kelowna Hoops Fest. Action begins on Saturday, June 6th at 6 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Central. After the turnover by Saskatoon, Scarborough can't get this shot to drop, but last touched by the Mamba, so 12 on the shot clock for the Shooting Stars. Well, we've got a quick moment. Let's go check in with Katrin Hodson as she was listening in on that Scarborough huddle.
Yes, the energy was super positive from Coach Vernon. His main message was just keep communicating, don't let the fatigue get to you, and build each other up. Just really trying to keep his team positive, and you could feel that from him.
And Tynes with a positive play by the Shooting Stars to knot it up at 72.
Yeah, different looks out here for the Shooting Stars right now. Different guys who are having to create. They're trying to create some different things. They went through Mitchell the first time. They went back to Tynes, trying to find different ways to create good shots. They're doing a pretty good job at it right now.
Townsend was just barely able to avoid the traveling violation, but couldn't get the finish. As it's a possession-to-possession game now. Javen Johnson, no hesitation. Three-pointer won't go, and the three-point woes continue for the Shooting Stars. Dunmartin inside Tim, squeezes through a pair, now back outside, around it goes to Jones. Inside Tim, waiting, hesitating, and he's fouled. And Javen Johnson in disbelief, his third.
And that's great ball movement by the Mamba, giving up good shots to get great shots, leads to Easton Tim going to the line.
Sorry, go ahead, Coach.
I was going to say, I hate to say that this is exactly where the Shooting Stars want them, but they're probably more comfortable going down into target time than being up. Their last game against Calgary, they went on an 8-0 run in order to win the game, and then unfortunately the game before that was against the Mamba where they went on a 19-0 run. So being up going into target time might be a new feeling for them.
And they also came back against Winnipeg for a target score time victory as well. So they are comfortable in tight games late, those clutch moments. Thomas from the corner, three-pointer won't go, but Mitchell wins the battle for the board, takes it back up himself, and he'll head to the line as Tim is whistled for his second foul.
Yeah, he's just a big, strong guy. Easton Tim was really trying to box out there, and Frank Mitchell just sort of forced his way into where he wanted to get. And then once Tim was off balance, it was really Mitchell's ball game.
We mentioned the 6'8", but we should also point out 268 to go with that 6'8". Just the physicality of Frank Mitchell makes life tough on even the most experienced defenders, let alone someone who's still an active U Sports player. But free throw shooting not his forte. He does make one finally there.
These last 2 minutes are really important entering target time. We almost refer to it as the fourth quarter. You're going to lead itself into the fifth quarter, which is target time. Really important for the Mamba to get themselves a lead here so that they can feel comfortable, have the momentum going into target time.
Javen Johnson picking up his fourth foul, so there are now 3 Scarborough players with 4 fouls, and they're all key ones in Powell, Tynes, and now Johnson. And yet we are waiting to see Powell reemerge for the late stages here as Johnson takes a seat.
Yeah, Coach Vernon taking out Johnson as well. They're going to have 2 fresh scorers going into target time here. Mamba really need to take advantage of these next 2 minutes.
Mahadi trying to scoop it. That is swatted away with authority by Kellen Tynes, so not worrying about picking up his 5th foul there. He saw a clean block opportunity and he took it.
Yeah, he's a multi-time all-conference defensive player when he was at the University of Maine. So defense is what he does.
Tyrell Vernon up in arms over this out-of-bounds call. He certainly felt, as did the Stars on the floor, that it should be Scarborough ball. But before the Mamba take this inbounds, they're going to talk things over as Isaiah Fox calls for a timeout. So, Eric, another chance to talk about the strategy heading into target score here. Those 2 minutes you've talked about before, these are the big 2 minutes that can make all the difference going into target score time here.
Well, and that's a great timeout right there by Coach Fox. Scarborough has their players resting right now. They're able to be fresh going into target time. But Mamba had 3 timeouts. You lose that 3rd timeout at target time anyway, you might as well take this minute here, let your guys rest, get a great offensive possession so you can take advantage of these 2 minutes.
Tavian Dunmartin, 14 points, but also some pretty slick work as a distributor as we get a couple looks at his full court quarterbacking, setting up a couple buckets. He doesn't have a gaudy assist total today, but a couple of pretty nice ones there for Tavian Dunmartin as he's helping his teammates get involved in the scoring as well. And they only have him credited with 2 assists here, but based on those highlights, Eric, I think he's got maybe a couple more than that.
Yeah, and lots of his plays have been about hockey assists as well, where he's setting up. You saw a great one there in that last highlight pack. He does a little dump-off pass to Jamal Fuller, who's got an open shot. Jamal does a great thing, goes from getting a good shot to dumping it inside, getting a great shot by Jaden Bediak.
So 5:48 on the game clock. Saskatoon 74, Scarborough 73. Mamba ball with 14 seconds on the shot clock. Mahadi, Jones, Dunmartin, Townsend, and Bediako on the floor for Saskatoon. Sims out there with Wise, Mitchell, Tynes, and Thomas for Scarborough. Townsend. Another good work by Tynes on the defensive end, forces the turnover. Lob mistimed, but Sims pulls it down and calmly puts it home. And the Shooting Stars push back in front by 1. Jones, Dunmartin with the right hand, lovely touch off the glass.
And a little different look for Tavian Dunmartin there. Sees Frank Mitchell in the lane instead of Charles Bediako. There's a little less length to have to go over.
Up to 16 points now for Tavian Dunmartin. Tied with Jaden Bediako for the team lead. But Amir Sims reasserting himself inside.
Yeah, he played in high level situations, been in First Division Italy for the last 3 years. That's good basketball.
Bediako can't get the putback after the Jones miss. And the Shooting Stars looking to add to a 1-point lead as we're down under 40 seconds to go until we hit that target score time threshold. Mitchell working on Townsend. No, but there's Sims again, and he's come alive here in the last couple minutes. And just 2 points prior to that last timeout, but 6 here to help push the Shooting Stars back out front by 3. Dunmartin to the cup, and he's met at the rim, and a foul. And is this on Tynes? No, it's on Thomas. So that's a break there for Scarborough, but it will give Tavian Dunmartin a couple of free throws here with 4:08 on the clock. Important 2 free throws here for TDM.
An interesting time going into target score. We got 8 seconds left till we can enter target score, except for Scarborough Shooting Stars have 4 fouls. They're not going to want to foul and put the Mamba on the free throw line, so they're going to want to play it clean. We'll have to watch and see what the Mamba want to do.
As Dunmartin makes 1. It's a 2-point Shooting Stars lead. 8 seconds, and we'll see how the Mamba handle this defensively. They are down 2 though, so.
Yeah, the Mamba don't want to foul. They want to try to play through, get the ball back, have a couple more opportunities to score.
There's
before they
Mitchell
enter target.
rocking the rim. We're under 4 to go, so here comes the foul from Wise.
And an absolutely cagey move here by TDM. Goes into his shooting motion. He's going to get 3 free throws to enter us into target time.
Wow. He saw the problem there, I think, for Scarborough was that Phoenix Wise had to cover so much ground to get to Tavian Dunmartin, who could see him clearly approaching with the clear intent to foul. And as you say, smart, savvy play there by Tavian Dunmartin.
And at the end of the day, he would have had 2 free throws anyway. He's just really giving him an extra one.
Yep.
An interesting choice by the Scarborough to actually want to foul there to enter into target time, knowing you're going to put him on the line.
But they sent the right guy there.
Or the wrong guy, depends who you are there, Ryan.
I suppose. Depends on the perspective, no doubt. But what I'm trying to say is not one of their players with 4, obviously. And Tavian Dunmartin, we saw this on Friday. He's not shy about talking to the other bench. Nearly got in some hot water at the end of Friday's game because of that, but he has a message for the Shooting Stars as we head to target time in a 1-point game. First to 90 will win it here tonight. Big finish coming up. You're watching the Canadian Elite Basketball League live on CBC Sports, YouTube, CBC Gem, and CEBL Plus. Target score time has arrived here in Saskatoon, and much like we saw with the Mamba and the Sea Bears on Friday, it is going to come right down to the wire, no doubt. This time it's a 1-point difference as the Shooting Stars lead at 81-80. Ryan Flaherty, Eric Magnez, Katrin Hodson with you. So, Coach, put your coaching cap back on for both teams. How are we handling the start of target score time here?
Well, it'll be really interesting with the Shooting Stars. They have Powell back and Johnson back in the game here, so they're a little guard heavy. They've been really successful playing through their bigs. Let's see how they choose to handle this in target time.
Scarborough ball to begin. First team to 90 wins it, and Miles Powell, who's had a quiet second half thanks to the foul issues, quickly puts his stamp on the start of target score to put the Shooting Stars up 83-80. Mamba looking for back-to-back wins. Dunmartin, 4-3!
That was a great action by the Mamba, little misdirection. TDM setting the back screen, confusion on the Scarborough Shooting Stars, tie game.
4 threes on the day for Tavian Dunmartin, who's 4 of 7 from deep. Tying it at 83, a foul here against Tevian Jones.
Mamba aren't in the bonus yet, though. That one doesn't hurt them. Just get ready to play on this next possession.
And yes, to remind folks that Scarborough is in the penalty. They've already gone over the foul limit. Remember, those fouls do not reset the target time. Powell, a relatively quiet 16 points here so far. Make it 18 as there's a slam thwarted by Bediako, but he will be called for the foul, sending Javen Johnson to shoot a couple free throws.
That's a couple times now Johnson's tried to get up and put one down on guys.
And it will be the third team foul on Saskatoon. It's Bediako's second.
And regardless of these free throws, Scarborough's still going to be 2 possessions away from winning it all. So Mamba just got to be solid, come down, get a great offensive possession.
Javen Johnson has not missed from the stripe this season, although I don't believe he's shot enough free throws to qualify as the league leader. That's his first of the day, and he makes them both to give the Shooting Stars a 2-point lead, 5 away from the target score. Trey Townsend getting set to check back in for Saskatoon as the Mamba look for a response. Chaplin denied. Mitchell, who's having a tremendous game at both ends with the rejection there. And now Townsend will take over for Jameer Chaplin. 11 seconds on the shot clock for Saskatoon.
It'll be interesting to watch matchups. Jameer's been the guy to guard Powell and done a great job all game. Without him on the floor here, wonder who they're going to go to.
Tevian Jones opens up and hits for 3. Tevian Jones puts the Mamba in front, 86-85, 4 away from the target score. Might be last possession wins. Well, not always last possession wins, but you know what I'm saying, Eric. Tynes inside, nearly walked, but gave it away to Jones. Tevian Jones, pull up 3. No, Bediako can't secure the rebound.
That's a tough situation. You want to attack the rim there. A 3 doesn't help you that much.
Powell just about lost it, regains control. Inside for Sims. ISO'd up on Townsend. Sims using that left forearm to muscle his way in. Offensive foul.
That's only the 4th on Sims. He's one of the guys, we're okay. They can get back and play defense.
He wanted a defensive foul call on that play, but the Palmyra of Virginia product still in conversation with the officials as Tyrell Vernon has called a timeout. Stars were up 1 at the start of target score time, but it's the Mamba now with the ball and a 1-point lead as we take a look at the resume of Tevian Jones here this afternoon in his Mamba debut.
Yeah, got off to a hot start. 9 points in the first half was the Mamba's leading scorer. Kind of had a bit of a quieter third quarter as he was trying to figure his way out, but has had a great time in target time here. Attacking the rim, got a big 3 to put the Mamba up 1.
16 points, 5 rebounds, couple assists, and a steal for Tevian Jones in his first game with the Mamba in just about 22 minutes of action. 6 of 16 from the field.
This was a great timeout by Coach Vernon. You could tell his guys were upset by that last call. Hey, every possession matters here. Got to get back on defense, got to be set up. Let's look how the Mamba choose to attack and who they choose to attack with. TDM is obviously the one, but maybe some misdirection. If people overhelp on TDM, where do they go to next?
Shooting Stars, the lone remaining unbeaten team in the CEBL after Brampton was beaten by Vancouver on Friday night. The Mamba looking to knock them off of that perch, get a little payback for the loss 2 weeks ago in Scarborough. 4 points away from the target. As we resume play, Jaden Bediako blanketed by Mitchell. Kicking it out, Tavian Dunn-Martin. Still 10 on the shot clock as he pulls it back. Screen comes from Jones, a kick ball. No off of Powell, but they won't reset. That's just an out-of-bounds call.
Yeah, that's an absolute key point there, Ryan. Only 6 seconds left on the shot clock here. They're going to have to get something quick. Scarborough Shooting Stars got to be ready. Watch for transition off this. These can be dangerous situations.
And almost like he's listening to you and reading your thoughts, Isaiah Fox, who's standing very close to us here in front of the bench, or in front of the scorer's table, says he doesn't like the way that's shaping up and he wants to talk it over here.
Yeah, sometimes it's those ugly possessions that can really hurt you. It's not about how you sort of handle that offensively, but if that leads to a transition bucket for the Shooting Stars, where they're only within 3, they got a bunch of guys, despite not shooting the ball well tonight. All you need is 1 to go in. So great timeout here by Coach Fox. Get everybody organized and get your defensive assignments organized so that you have that transition defense set, ready to go.
Kellen Tynes has been very involved when he's been able to stay on the floor here this afternoon, although the numbers aren't particularly gaudy, but he's certainly been a big piece of the puzzle today for Scarborough, Aaron.
And he's never been a numbers guy. It's always about that gritty play, guarding TDM, making his life difficult. TDM's really done well, but most of the time it's because Tynes has been in foul trouble and they've had to change that matchup. So great job by Kellen Tynes, a guy who's going to attack the rim, and a sneaky guy who, if you overplay somebody else, he'll make you pay.
6 points, 4 assists, a couple of boards, even a block for Tynes. And you know where that grit comes from. He's from Dartmouth, Nova Scotia. If you go, anyone who's spent any time in Dartmouth knows that's how they make them down there. It's a blue-collar town. And a blue-collar effort here today from Kellen Tynes. Mamba, again, 6 on the shot clock out of the timeout. Mahadi inside, Bediako! And that's why you call the timeout.
Absolutely great play. They knew they were going to overplay on their shooters, get that back door for the big guy.
Mamba 2 points away, and they can comfortably defend here with Scarborough needing a couple of baskets to win this ball game. Comfortably is a relative term, Eric, but there's nothing comfortable about target score time. 15 seconds on the shot clock, Scarborough inbound. Tynes sees some daylight, stripped. Here come the Mamba. Dunmartin down Main Street, up top. Oh! Just got a little too wide-eyed with a chance to end with a stupendous finish, but threw it over the head of Tevian Jones.
Yeah, you gotta love that they look to push in transition there. Hey, Tev can get up. That was just a little bit too much even for him.
Powell, pull up, 3. Ooh, in and out for Miles Powell. And perhaps that might be the lasting image for the Shooting Stars if they can't come back and win. Jones, kicking it out. Dunmartin, slashing inside, blocked. Gets it back. Still time, 8 seconds. Mahadi for 3. No. Powell back the other way. Tynes for 3. Short. Powell the board. Johnson lines it up and hits.
Next bucket wins, Ryan. Next bucket wins.
88 after the 3 from Johnson. Isaiah Fox wanted a timeout but didn't get it in time as the ball was inbounded. Mamba looking to author up another dramatic victory here on home floor. Dunmartin with the screen from Bediako takes it himself way offline.
Got to get connected now. Find your defensive matchups. It's all about getting a stop here for the Mamba.
A must stop here. Powell inside. Up it goes. Bediako with the contest. Dunmartin down the floor. Jones. No, he's fouled.
That's big. That's both the 5th on Sims, plus Jones is going to the line to try to win it all.
Is it going to be a case of deja vu here on this Sunday? Mamba won it with 2 free throws on Friday, and now Tevian Jones with a chance to follow suit. But you can't make 2 unless you make 1.
Absolutely. That's the thing we talk about in target time all the time. Get a big defensive stop. That's what's going to allow you to run in transition, give you your best opportunity to win it.
Tevian Jones, 78%, make it 75% this season with the Vancouver Bandits. Makes the first. As Tevian Jones looks to author a real nice welcome back. And that's the ball game. Tevian Jones back in the Bridge City, and the Mamba are back in the win column, their first winning streak in franchise history. It came right down to it, and they win it 90-88.
An absolute great homestand weekend here for the Mamba to get their season back on track. Big game coming up against Vancouver, but we got to enjoy these 2 victories. Lots to learn from these, and you got to see these guys coming through in target time, learning from their previous mistakes, getting better every day.
And no ill will after this one. We saw a little bit of a skirmish on Friday night, but Tevian Jones, talk about a return as he gets the final points. But once again, the Mamba with a total team effort here, and they clutch up and they get that payback they were looking for. They didn't get a go on a 19-0 run to do it, but I don't think they care whatsoever. It was that second half again, just like we saw here on Friday night. They turned the page, and they really took it to the Shooting Stars. Their defense tightened up, and Tevian Jones steps to the line and makes 2 for 2, just like Tavian Dunmartin did on Friday against Winnipeg.
Yeah, great job. 36 points is what they held Scarborough to here in the second half. That's a big number. That's a big improvement for the Mamba.
18 points for Tevian Jones, including the 2 biggest of the night. He is our Booster Juice player of the game, and he's standing by with Katrin Hudson.
All right, Tevian, welcome back. How do you feel after that?
Man, it feels amazing. It feels good to be back. Get another win for these fans, another win for the group. Feels good out here.
Okay, what do you think the team did right to win this game tonight?
Man, I think we just stuck together down the stretch. We played together, we made the right play, knocked down open shots, and we won.
Okay, you finished your season last year with Saskatoon. You're back at the beginning of the season this year. How do you feel about that?
I feel good. It feels good to be here in the beginning rather than the end. And I just want to finish out the season, finish out strong.
All right, well, congratulations. Welcome back. Back to you, Ryan.
Thank you so much, Katrin and Tevian Jones. Yes, he has a completely different dynamic to this lineup, doesn't he, Eric?
Yeah, he's just another scorer, another guy who can get a bucket, and he does it in a variety of ways, especially with Gordon being out these last 2 games. They've needed some perimeter scoring. When teams are going to put this much effort in and taking away TDM, having another guy who can attack the lane and be aggressive is a huge addition for the Mamba.
All right, we'll be back to wrap up here in just a couple of minutes as the Saskatoon Mamba pick up their 2nd straight win and knock the Scarborough Shooting Stars from the ranks of the unbeaten. You're watching Canadian League Basketball League action live on CBC Gem, YouTube, and CEBL+. Back inside the snake pit here as the fans file out once again, feeling pretty good if they are here to support the home team, of course, as the Saskatoon Mamba pull out a 2nd nail-biting win in target score time in 3 days. This time, avenging a target score time comeback loss to the Shooting Stars back in Scarborough a couple weeks back. 90-88 the final. As we wrap things up from inside SaskTel Center, Ryan Flaherty, Eric Bagdens with you. Before we have some final thoughts on the game, let's let you know the next CEBL broadcast will take place in the nation's capital as the Western Conference leading Vancouver Bandits will battle it out against the Ottawa Blackjacks. Tip-off is at 7:30 p.m. ET on Tuesday. You can catch all the action on CBC Gem, YouTube, and CEBL+. And hey, while we're at it, let's just check out the rest of the scoreboard on this Sunday. We had 2 other games on the slate. So earlier today, it was those Blackjacks defeating the Montreal Alliance 90-79. Blackjacks now 3-3, Montreal 2-4. And in Red Deer, the All-West Showdown. The Edmonton Stingers taking on the Calgary Surge, still looking for their first win are the Surge. And late in that one, it is Edmonton with a 104-98 lead over the Surge. All right. Eric, final thoughts on what we saw here this afternoon/evening.
You know, Mamba only shoot 35% from the field tonight. Not what you're looking for offensively, not who they've been all year, but they do a great job of taking care of the ball. Only 11 turnovers and 23 offensive rebounds. They made use of those missed shots, went to the glass, got them, and took advantage of it from there.
Indeed, this is the fewest points that the Mamba have allowed all season long. It's also, I believe, the second fewest that they have scored this season, but in fact, it is indeed. But hey, what the result is the thing, and that second half really made a huge difference as that defensive effort once again intensified and tightened the screws. As for Scarborough, you know, maybe they were playing a little bit on a high wire in the first few games of the season. We talked with Tyrell Vernon. He said, you know, we could easily have their record coming in based on the way target score could have played out for us tonight. They're on the wrong end of it, but still a very exciting, dynamic team, and they should have a real good season going forward.
Yeah, they're an absolute electric team. They got a lot of guys who can score the ball. They a little bit live and die by the three. Tonight, they only go 5 for 30 from three, shoot 16%. That's going to be a tough way to win. Credit to the Mamba for getting out there and making those tough.
All right, we won't be back with you for a couple of weeks. The Mamba are hitting the road again, but our next broadcast from here in the Bridge City will be on June 15th when the Mamba take on the Ottawa Blackjacks. On behalf of Katrin Hodson and Eric Magdans, I'm Ryan Flaherty saying thank you so much for watching and good night from Saskatoon.
Knock 'em out the run, knock 'em out the run, knock 'em out the run with your pet top time for some action.